Alright, you all asked for it. I just put together a PowerPoint going over every single step to sign your first client with a social media marketing agency in 2022. I know that starting a marketing agency can be incredibly difficult. There's so many things you don't know, and especially if you don't have any results or testimonial to show for you, it can be pretty tough to get a client. But in this video, I'm going to teach you how to land your first high-paying client without any results or case studies. And in case you're wondering, who is this guy that's coming up on my feed claiming that he knows how to run a social media marketing agency? Well, I'm Henrik, and on this channel, I'm documenting my journey of running a $110,000 a month profit marketing agency in 2022. I show you my results, and I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. But anyways, what you're all here for, how do you actually get your first client? Because it can be incredibly difficult. Operating an agency at 50, 60, 70K a month, it's not really that hard, and it doesn't require that much time because you have systems in place. But when you're first starting out, there's so many questions that you want to get answered. There's so many things you don't know, and it can be super frustrating because people are going to ghost you. They're not going to take you serious. They're probably going to be rude as well. But I'm not going to waste your time, so hopefully click a like on this video and subscribe to my channel. And you can also check out my Instagram right here because I'm posting my entire journey there, and I'm even showing you some of my clients and their results. But let's get into the PowerPoint though. How to sign your first SMMA client in 2022. Now this is a step-by-step guide, so do yourself a favor and set aside 10 minutes to watch this video because I'm guaranteeing you it's going to be one of the best videos on YouTube about landing your first client. But let's get started though. So what expectations should you have before you actually even start a marketing agency? Well, signing your first client can be very hard. There's a couple of things that you should know before you even get into the business model. And the first one is to expect to do 2 to 3 hours of outreach every single day. When I first started my marketing agency around 3 to 4 years ago, I was doing outreach for 5 to 6 to sometimes even 7 hours every single day. And the reason for that is because, first of all, I was very hungry. I really wanted to make this business model work, and I had also dropped out of college, so I had something to prove to my parents, and I just had to put my head down and focus. Besides that though, I was very hungry, and I also realized that most people out there are not going to take me serious and that I just have to send out many messages. So when I was, for example, using my Facebook outreach strategy, which is incredibly efficient for beginners, and I'm going to reveal that later in this video, I had the goal of sending out 100 messages at least every single day, and I never really slipped. You have to understand that when you're starting an agency, it's going to be some sort of a grind to get started, but once you get started, you can automate the whole process the second you get your first client. Expect people to ignore you or switch up. When you're first starting an agency, people are probably not going to take you super serious because you're a newcomer, you don't have any results to show for yourself, and they might be kind of interested, kind of like when you're flirting with a girl. She's often going to be there just for the attention, but at some point she's going to get bored. And this is kind of like the same thing with someone you're trying to sell your service to. They might seem like they're a little bit interested. You might even almost set up a meeting with them too, and then they're just going to go ghost. This is completely normal, so don't worry about it. If someone ghosts you, you can always follow up and just move on to the next one. In a second, we're going to break down the strategies on how to actually get the clients, but I just think it's super important that we set some expectations before we get into that. I want to create the most valuable video as possible. The third thing you should expect when starting an agency is to be doubted. You just really have to expect this. You have no results to show for yourself. Just like me when I started, I had no results to show for myself, and I also followed the fourth thing that you have to expect. Sometimes you might actually have to expect to work for free, but what you're going to do is you want to work for someone for free in exchange for a testimonial, and then later on you're going to use that testimonial to close your next client, or after working for them for free, you could actually maybe charge them. It really does happen. I was helping one of my friends out the other day who's just starting his agency like a month ago, and he's been working for free for 3 different clients now, and he just signed his first client for $2,000 a month just because he delivered some value on that free training period. And the fifth, expectations. This is probably where some of the guys that's not serious in any way is going to click off of the video because they're going to realize it's hard. Expect anywhere from 1 to 30 days to close your first client, and for some people it can even take up to 60 days. But if you're a really hungry person, you're really dedicated, and you just put your life into making an agency happen, I would probably do it the first week or two. But there's a lot of things you have to learn, right? You have to understand that it's not just going to become easy. When I started my agency, it took me around 90 days to get my first client, but the thing is, I was not serious. I sometimes just got back into playing video games. I was kind of on and off. I didn't take it super serious, but once I actually took it serious, I was able to get my first client in just 15 days. So if you speed up and you get extremely obsessed and dedicated, and you just put everything you got into running this agency, I can pretty much, not always, but I can pretty much guarantee that you should see results definitely already the first month. But what you're all here for, the actual strategy to land your first client. Let's get into it. Okay, so landing clients, the actual process. On the next slide, we're going to go into my Facebook and social media to actually show you live exactly how to do this. This is not really something that the YouTubers really do. They just tell you do this, do that, and you just end up completely confused. But in this video, I'm going to show you the exact steps live on my screen, just like if I were to do it myself. I mean, I'm even going to do it myself. So hopefully click a like and subscribe. But let's get into the process of landing clients. All right, landing clients can definitely be a process. And I have divided this into 4 stages, where the first one is red, and for every stage that you go through, the lamp gets a little bit closer to the green. So we first at the red stage, orange stage, yellow stage, and green stage. And the great thing is that once you actually become experienced, you have some results, and you have a couple of clients every single month, you'll be able to pretty much skip all of these stages, and you can only focus on just signing the client. But when you're first starting out, chances are you probably just have to go through this whole square to get your first client. But trust me, it's gonna get better, because you can literally skip all of these steps when you know what you're doing. All right, so the first of the 4 steps is the outreach. This is where 80% of people quit. And the truth is 80% of people are just looking for this as a quick way to make money, maybe because they owe someone money, or maybe because they want to drop out of school, or maybe because they want to prove something, or just because they want to get rich. Maybe it's their ego speaking. But typically 80% of people are going to quit in the outreach part of the journey. It's something that I will reveal and show you how to do here in a second. But this is basically where you reach out to clients. You're trying to find leads. You're basically just trying to convince them to get over here to the orange zone. And the orange zone is where you actually set up a call with the client. Congrats. This is where your life can change if you make the right moves. But if it's your first time, chances are you might blow it. Now, actually, most people that I've helped to set up an agency from scratch has been able to convert the client on their first calls. But I'm not trying to sell you the dream. You can't always expect that. Obviously, you should expect that you're the man, you're gonna get this deal. But in reality, you might have to do a couple of these calls before they're actually interested in working with you. And that is completely fine. It's all a part of the process. But in the orange stage, you're pretty much just trying to get the client from the outreach. You now talked with him a little bit back and forth, as I'm going to show you later. You asked a little bit about his business. You're qualifying the client, and you're talking a little bit about yourself and your agency as well, but you're not salesy. Listen, you can never sound salesy when you're trying to get your first potential client on a call with you, because they're just going to run away, especially if you don't have any results. So on this call, you're pretty much just going to talk about the client, ask about their business, how it's doing every single month, and also ask them where they would like the business to be in 6 months, 12 months, maybe like 2 years. Just talk about the client, because the thing is, people love to talk about themselves, and you're going to see how you can help them. So there's a couple of keys when you set up a call like this. The first one is that the call should only be like 10 to 15 minutes, because people are busy, and if it's 30 minutes, they're just going to disappear. They're not really going to be interested in that. And the second key is to not really talk that much. You want to get the clients to talk about themselves, and then what you're going to do is just with short sentences, just let them know the solution. So let the clients talk a lot about themselves, and then you just at the end, honestly, just come to them with the solution. And the orange zone is going to lead you straight down to the yellow zone. And now that we're down to the yellow zone, we're getting really close to that green zone, where you're actually going to make money and change your life forever. All right, so the yellow zone is something you can just skip if you have good results. But chances are, if you're watching this video, you're looking to get your first client and you don't have that. And if you don't have results, you can't skip it, which means that you don't have to do this, but I really recommend, because it's going to be hard, it's probably just going to drain you, is to do free work. Perform good here and the money is yours. How many times haven't you heard it when you've been watching business and entrepreneurship videos on YouTube, that you should find someone that could be, for example, a mentor for you and work for them for free in exchange of experience or in exchange for knowledge? And this is the exact thing you want to do for your potential client as well. You don't have any results, you got something to prove. What you should do is to offer a client a completely risk-free 2-week free trial. Now, they have to pay for the ads, but it should be pretty cheap. But you want to set up a 2-week free trial where you can prove yourself, honestly, just to get a testimonial. I'm usually not trying to close these clients afterwards, but you really could make money off them. As I said, I helped this guy and he managed to land a client after the trial. But I would probably just use the trial to get a testimonial, so that I can use that testimonial, so that next time I get back into the red zone, which is the outreach zone, I now have results to show for myself. And how do you get good at Facebook ads? How do you actually get results? Well, my best advice is to get to the yellow zone, work for free for someone, watch some videos on how to run Facebook ads, and just practice with other people's money. You can't really hurt them if they only have a $300, $400, or $500 advertising budget. And then once you start to get more familiar with the platform, you're getting some experience, you should get pretty confident, because getting leads and making sales through Facebook's advertising platform is actually really easy. You just have to know the system and know a little bit about what you're doing. So this is the exact reason to why you should work for someone for free. So now that you're in the yellow zone, you work for someone for free, you have 2 options. You can either go to the green zone, which is where you sign the client, or you can go back to the red zone. So what you can now do is you can go to the green zone and say to the client that, hey, I made you good results. There is a return on investment. If you like, we could keep working together for 1 or 2 or 3 months. You could sign them on retainers. You could sign them for just 1 month. When you're starting out, I'll probably just sign for 1 month just to get the first client, just to get the money and see that it's possible. You don't really want to take any risk. Here you want to charge around $1.5K to $2,000 just because your first client. Keep it a little bit safe. Or you can get the testimonial and move on to the red zone. You could also do both. But my option here would probably be to try to close the client if I was super hungry. But I would also try to get the testimonial, so that when I'm back to the red zone, which is the outreach zone, I can now reach out to people. I can skip the free work and just show them my testimonial and my results, so that they pretty much have qualified me. They know what I'm talking about at this point. They know that I know how to make other people money, so I can skip the free work zone. But you probably have to go through the free work zone once before you can start skipping that zone. But obviously at this point, the yellow zone, free work zone, is not really somewhere that I like to hang around anymore, right? I've proven myself. I'm multiple results. They're all over my profile. They're all over my agency's website. So there's no reason to work for free anymore, but you have to expect to work for free when you start. So signed, you did it. Now repeat it without free work. Congrats, you just signed your first client. Now the only thing you need to do is to go out there and do it again. And I'm telling you, the first client is always the hardest. Once you have results to refer to, and you can also tell your potential new leads that you are actually working with client, and you say, I'm working with this brand, I'm working with this brand, and we're doing these results, it should be pretty easy for you to actually close your new clients. So now your outreach is going to be a lot more efficient, and it's going to be an easier time actually landing the clients. But now what you've all been waiting for, a couple of outreach strategies. I actually brought you 4, and these 4 are really good. All right, so methods of outreach. I brought together 4 methods, and these are 4 really good ones where I have 2 favorites, but they're all good, and it all depends on your personality. For some people, cold calling fits their personality, but for other people, it might be better to just hide behind their screen. So the first outreach method is Facebook cold outreach. And this is you going to Facebook pages and sending messages to the pages asking things such as who's in charge of their marketing, or you can go to their website and see a problem and you can let them know, hey, there is something wrong with your website. Just ask questions about marketing. You can say, do you have a marketing team? Who's in charge of your marketing? Or you can sometimes try to plug yourself as well. You need to try every single approach. So if I were to come up with like 3, 4, 5 different approaches, the first one would probably be, hey, who's in charge of your marketing? Then they're going to reply, and then you're going to say like, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. These are things that I have covered in previous videos. The second one is not really my favorite, but it can work if you have results. You say, hey, I'm this guy from this media company. We just made a client $50,000 in a month profit, something like that, right? You're basically using your results to do the introduction. The third one is more casual, just asking questions about, for example, the gym or the e-commerce website, not really trying to sell anything and then getting into the sales later. And the second method of outreach is cold emailing. This is basically when you gather 400 to 500 to 600 emails and you send out a blast. So you test different email templates, you see what actually works and what's going to get you responses, and then you get a software like MailChimp that allows you to send out bulk emails. So you gather 500 emails on, for example, an Excel document, and at the end of every single day, you take your 300, 400, 500, 600 emails and you paste in an email. And you should test this email with like 30 different people to see what actually gets you replies. And you should always test new templates, and then you're going to send out that email to all the emails that you have collected that day. Then you're going to go to bed, and then you're going to wake up in the next morning and see if someone has actually replied. The thing is though, cold emails only work if you send out a lot of them. You're not going to have a chance if you send out 20, 30, 40 cold emails a day. You have to send out like 100 at least, but in my opinion, you should go ham. So the first thing you do when you sign a client, you make $2,000 a month. You take 2, 3, or 400 of those dollars to put it into your outreach so you can automate your outreach. So what you're going to do now is you're going to get a team that collects emails for example, gyms. And at the end of the day, you have 400 emails, for example, and you send out a bulk email to all of those, and you should probably have like 10, 12, maybe 15 responses the next day, and then you're just going to keep talking with them from there. But cold emails is good, but it's only good if you do a ton of it. This is really going to be a hustle, but it's really, really effective. The third method is cold calling, and cold calling is not really for me. I did try it, especially when I started out. I've probably done like 500, 600 cold calls at this point, and it's not really a lot, but I realized quickly that cold calling just wasn't my style. I just blew it every single time. Obviously, I could practice, but it comes down to your personality. I have a friend that's an expert at cold calling, but that could never be me. I'm just not really a cold caller. I'd way rather sit laid back like now, which is probably a really lazy posture for a YouTube video, but I'd way rather sit laid back like this and just type on my keyboard and try to convince people the whole day than picking up the phone and cold calling. But if cold calling is your style, I'm all for it. You should totally do it, because if cold calling comes natural to you and you're good at convincing people, it's a really, really good skill. You can also run paid ads to your agency, but you should have some budget before you do that. The fourth method is to build a personal brand. So this is, for example, you building a YouTube channel around Facebook ads. And this is something that I did once I got experience. So I actually made a YouTube channel. I'm not going to reveal the name on it because I think it's kind of cringe, but I did make a YouTube channel on Facebook ads, and I grew it a little bit, and people saw that I had good campaigns. In every single video, I show my results, I show my campaigns, and I refer to always my clients. So people started picking up on this, like, yo, this guy is actually very good at running Facebook ads. And I just told them that if you need any help, click the link in the description, schedule a call with me, and I'll see how I can work with you. And from that, I got a lot of people that were interested in actually learning how to run ads, but didn't have time for it, that wanted me to run their ads for them. So I will say that personal brand is definitely the best way to go about it, but you can scale up to 50K or 100K a month by doing cold outreach too if you have a team. And once you get results, pretty easy for you to convince people if you have a team that works pretty much all around the clock to get you leads. And the only thing you do once you actually got to like a really high point is that you only step in when there's time to actually close the deal. All right, so back to the weird slide with different colors and different zones, and there's all those weird things I came up with. Well, let's break down this slide. So the first thing you do is you outreach, then call setup, then free work and sign. So how do you actually do your outreach? Well, I'm going to show you. Let's get get inside of my Facebook. I have shown this in previous videos, so I'm just going to quickly run through it. But let's get inside of my Facebook, and I'm going to show you, just using gyms as an example, how to actually get in touch with them and how to convince them. So let's get inside of my Facebook. All right, so we're inside of my computer. So let's use gyms as an example. I'm going to go up to the search tab, and I'm going to search for something such as gyms in Newcastle. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to pages, and now we're going to find pretty much all the gyms in Newcastle. So what you want to do is you want to scroll down a little bit, because chances are, you know, the big brands like Pure Gym, these are just really big gyms in the country. They probably have a marketing team. So what I would do is I would scroll down a little bit until I found more so untapped gyms that probably doesn't have a marketing team. This one has 331 likes. So what I can do is I can send them a message, but there's no option. So I can go to this one first. Then I have a couple of different options. I can either send them a message asking who's in charge of this marketing, or I can go to this website, but as you see, my Wi-Fi is slow, so I don't know if you really can do that. Yeah, here we go. So we can go to this website, and we could, for example, say that, hey, your website is bad. You say that in a nice way, okay? Do not get me wrong, but you say that, hey, this can improve. This pretty much looks like a website from like 2005. So you can let them know how to improve their website. They're always going to be interested if you do it in a nice way. But you can also take the different approach of saying, hey, who's in charge of your marketing? And then if he replies, you can say something like, how's that been working for you? It's going to say like, we have a marketing team. How's that been working for you? Or you can say, nobody's doing that. And you say, yo, you're leaving so much money on the table by not having a marketing team. There's multiple different things you can say to a prospect like this. And in my Discord group, which is obviously completely free, I'm not here to sell anything. My free Discord group should be able to teach you everything about how to actually talk to potential clients. And what you want to do at this stage is you just want to pick your outreach strategies. Are you going to do cold calling? Are you going to do personal brands? Probably hard if you don't know what you're doing. Are you going to do cold emailing, or are you going to do Instagram? I mean, you pick your own style. Or are you going to go with Facebook, as I just did on my screen? If I had to pick my favorite outreach method, it would be this Facebook method, because typically you should have like a 1 in 5 respond rate. If you send out 100 messages, 200 messages a day, you should get a lot of responses, and it should be quite easy for you to actually set up a call with someone, as long as you make the right moves. And if you're in the Discord group, you're going to learn pretty much all about it. So what you should do now is you should watch my other videos on the exact steps to do outreach, because I have videos breaking down the exact ways that I used to do cold outreach. And then you're going to come back to this weird PowerPoint. I mean, maybe you can take a screenshot of it. You're going to come back to this weird one, and you're just going to utilize that. So outreach, cold setup, free work, and sign. And that's it. You just want to push through this cycle once. Red turns to orange, orange to yellow, and yellow to green. Once you've done that, you signed your first client. Now, I know that I didn't cover absolutely everything in this video, but if you check out my other videos and the Discord, you're going to learn all about it. All right, so that's how you land your first client with social media marketing in 2022. And if you implement what I just taught you and you watch my other videos, you should have a pretty easy time landing your first client. But you have to understand that this is a hustle. It does require hard work, but it's completely free. You don't need any results, and if you put in the work, you're pretty much guaranteed to make results. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you click a like on it and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see more insights of my agency and my day-to-day life, you can go ahead and message me on my Instagram here. But that's going to be it for today's video. I promise you a YouTube takeover. So I'll be posting videos 2 times every single week, if not even more. So I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. But that's it for today. So I'll see you later.